Hello everyone, I am Casey the Gamer, and it's time for another game review. This week it's time to go on another adventure with the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, Samus Aran. It's time for Metroid Zero Mission. Metroid Zero Mission was released on February 9th, 2004 in North America and May 27th, 2004 in Japan for the Gameboy Advance. Metroid Zero Mission is a remake of the original Metroid for the NES. It's got updated graphics, movement, gameplay, and story elements. This was another one that I played on an emulator as soon as it dropped, but I could never find at the store when I had the money, unfortunately. But I love Metroid Zero Mission. It's a great time, and it features one of my favorite segments of any Metroid game. Now, let's jump into Metroid Zero Mission. The story is the same as the original, but just in case, there are spoilers ahead for the story of the game. Samus goes to planet Zebes to destroy the Metroids and wipe out Mother Brain and her space pirate allies. But Zero Mission tells the story with a little bit of narration from Samus at key points in the game, and some brief comic book style cutscenes. So there is more to the story's presentation than the original, but it's not as story driven or heavy as Metroid Fusion was. Samus lands on the planet and gives a brief narration. Planet Zebes. I called this planet home once, in peaceful times, long before the evil haunted the caverns below. Now, I shall finally tell the tale of my first battle here, my so-called Zero Mission. With the title drop out of the way, Samus heads into the caves of Zebes and explores and collects upgrades and a few mysterious items that aren't compatible with her current suit, as well as battling all kinds of crazy aliens. Besides the Metroids and Mother Brain, Samus has to once again battle Kraid, who has been made giant like he was in Super Metroid, and she also has to battle her nemesis Ridley. Samus defeats both of them and the way to Torian is open. Samus battles her way through Torian and destroys all of the Metroids there. Samus encounters Mother Brain and manages to defeat her as well. The area is set to explode and Samus has to escape to her ship to get off the planet. Samus makes it to her ship, and that's that. The story's over, right? But wait, what's this? After removing her power suit, Samus is ambushed by space pirates. Samus tries to avoid their fire, but her ship is shot down. Samus crashes on the planet. Her ship and power suit are destroyed. Samus narrates some more. The timing of my escape couldn't have been worse. I was attacked by space pirates and left nearly defenseless, stripped of my power suit. All I had for protection was my rather useless emergency pistol. Infiltrating the space pirate mothership so armed may have been foolish, but I had no choice. Could I survive long enough to escape? Samus sneaks into the space pirate mothership and tries to avoid the space pirates as best as she can. After sneaking past them, Samus enters Chozodia, a Chozo temple. Samus finds a Chozo mural and flashbacks to when she visited this place with her adoptive Chozo father, Old Bird. Things in the temple activate and put Samus through a trial of sorts. Samus completes the trial and is rewarded with her fully powered suit. The mysterious items also activate, giving Samus even more abilities. Samus proceeds to absolutely decimate the space pirates. This right here has always been one of my favorite parts in this game and any Metroid game. It's just so cool. After slaughtering the space pirates, Samus encounters a robot of Ridley. Samus defeats Mecha Ridley and has to escape yet another timer. Samus fights her way through the mothership and makes it to a regular space pirate ship. Samus fights off the pirates guarding it and gets inside and blasts off as the mothership explodes. And at the very end, we see a little drawing that Samus had left on the Chozo mural as a child. I absolutely love the presentation for the story in this game. It's done so well. All the comic book style cutscenes used to introduce Samus, Mother Brain, Kraid, Ridley, and the Metroids are all just so cool, and I love them. And the extra story added after beating Mother Brain was super cool as well. Metroid Zero Mission does a great job with retelling Metroid's story. Metroid Zero Mission plays like an absolute dream. It feels so good to play. As stated, it's a remake of the original Metroid, which definitely hasn't aged the best by this point. Zero Mission is a fantastic remake. It updates the original game with many gameplay mechanics from Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion, and it is amazing. So where Metroid Fusion was more story-focused and linear, Metroid Zero Mission is more like Super Metroid, where you have more freedom to explore. The 2D action exploration is back in full force, and so is the sequence breaking, which I will talk about more in a bit. Metroid Zero Mission features all of the upgrades and abilities Samus could get in the original Metroid, which was the Morph Ball, missiles, bombs, high jump boots, the Varia Suit, the Screw Attack, the Long Beam, the Ice Beam, and the Wave Beam, as well as energy tanks and missile expansions. But Metroid Zero Mission has also included upgrades and abilities from the games that came after the original Metroid, such as the Speed Booster, which also includes the Shine Spark ability once again, the Charge Beam, the Spring Ball, which you actually get this when you get the high jump boots, the Power Grip, which lets Samus grab onto ledges like in Metroid Fusion, Super Missiles, and Power Bombs. You also collect 3 mysterious items throughout your journey that are incompatible with your starting suit. But once you obtain the fully powered suit, they are revealed to be the Plasma Beam, the Space Jump, and the Gravity Suit. It should also be mentioned that beam upgrades stack like in Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion. Missile upgrades do not stack this time around, which is fine. It just means you have to swap between regular missiles and super missiles. And naturally, the expansion tanks for your energy and weapon ammo are back as well. Going for 100%, you will end up with 12 energy tanks, 250 missiles, 30 super missiles, and 18 power bombs, which is a hell of a lot less than the 74 in Metroid Fusion. 18 power bombs makes sense. Most of the upgrades and abilities can be found at Chozo statues like usual. After obtaining the item, every Chozo statue will heal you and replenish your weapon ammo. These act as recharge rooms basically. Some Chozo statues will also point you in the direction of where it wants you to go next, but you can still go off and do your own thing. Save stations are still around to let you save the game, and some save stations later on in the game will save the game and replenish health and weapon ammo. And returning to your ship will save the game and also refill health and ammo. As I mentioned, sequence breaking is back. The bomb jump ability is back and it is helpful for getting some items early. Wall jumping is also back and you are once again able to jump off of the same wall repeatedly, which is great, but it doesn't seem quite as smooth as it was in Super Metroid, at least to me. But I'm glad that the ability to do so is back. So yeah, you can get some of the expansion tanks early, and you can even get the Varia Suit early, which does trivialize some sections as it makes you immune to acid damage. And I know there's other sequence breaks out there, like fighting Ridley before Kraid and stuff like that. I just haven't learned how to do them. Like in the original Metroid, your goal is to defeat the space pirates, the Metroids, and Mother Brain. You still have to defeat both Kraid and Ridley in order to get into Turian to deal with Mother Brain and the Metroids, but they've also included some other bosses or mini-bosses along the way. There is a boss you have to beat in order to get the Charge Beam, called Charge Beam Beast. Real creative. Anyway, there's also the Acid Worm, Kraid, Kiru-Giru, Imago, Ridley, Mother Brain, the Ruins Test, and Mecha Ridley. So quite a beefier lineup than the original for sure. So as with any Metroid game, you explore the planet, collecting upgrades and battling the bosses. You defeat Kraid and Ridley and enter Turian. Once there, you encounter the Metroids, and like before, the combo of the Ice Beam and 5 missiles will destroy them. Or, the Ice Beam and 1 Super Missile will seal the deal. After that, you battle Mother Brain. And the Mother Brain fight can be quite hard because there's so many things coming at you on screen. But after you break her tank open, if you hit her with 6 super missiles, the fight is over. And then you have to escape back to your ship before the area explodes. But the game isn't over yet. Samus's ship is shot down by space pirates, causing her ship and power suit to be destroyed in the process. Samus then has to sneak into the space pirate mothership in order to find a way to escape the planet. And I absolutely hated this part as a kid. Stealth didn't agree with me then, and it still doesn't now, but I know what I need to do much better than before. You have to do your best to sneak past the space pirates, and hide from them when you do get caught to make the alarms turn off. And be careful, because without the power suit, the space pirates pack a punch. After a rousing round of Metal Gear Metroid, Samus finds herself in Chozodia, a Chozo temple. Samus has to deal with the Ruins Test boss. All you have to do is avoid its attacks and shoot when the orb it's holding changes from your reflection to a symbol. Do that 4 times and you win, obtaining the fully powered suit, all of your previous upgrades, as well as the plasma beam, space jump, and gravity suit. And I did talk about this in the story section, but this is one of my favorite parts in the whole game. The whole franchise. After being defenseless and having to be sneaky, it feels so good to go through and absolutely wreck the space pirates with that epic music playing the whole time. So after getting the suit, you collect the power bombs as your last upgrade. And at this point, you can either go back and get all of the remaining expansions you need, or you can go and fight the final boss. So let's say you're like me, and usually just head to the end right away. You battle Mecha Ridley, and if you place your shots precisely, he is destroyed in no time. And then you have 5 minutes before the ship explodes. You then have to fight 2 decently beefy space pirates before the hatch opens, and you get in a space pirate ship to escape. Everything goes boom as Samus escapes the planet. But if you do decide to go back for 100% of the items, like I did after beating the game, if you go and you deal with the oodles and oodles of Shine Spark puzzles, some fun and some a big pain in the butt, and you end up with 100% of the items, it actually makes the Mecha Ridley fight harder. At 100% items, Mecha Ridley has more health and he does way more damage. They're really going to make you earn your suitless Samus ending screen this time. Which brings me to the endings. Once again, item collection percentage and how long it takes you to beat the game factor into the ending you get. There are like 7 or 8 different endings, I think, maybe more. The first ending I got was Samus without her helmet after beating the game in over 2 hours with 61% of the items. And the second ending I got was for beating the game in under 4 hours with 100% of the items. There's also a hard mode in this game, also an easy mode too. But in hard mode, not only do the enemies hit harder, you get less upgrades. So that certainly sounds fun. There are also different ending screens only for hard mode. In addition to the different ending screens, when you beat the game, you unlock the original Metroid to play as well, which I think is a really cool feature. Metroid Zero Mission is a wonderful reimagining of the original game. The updated gameplay feels great, and I love how the maps have been retooled and updated to include puzzles for Samus's new tools. Metroid Zero Mission feels incredible to play. Seriously. Metroid Zero Mission is an absolutely gorgeous game. It's clearly a vast improvement over the original. Samus, the enemies, and all of the backgrounds are so incredibly detailed and just beautiful. Such amazing pixel art. And as good as Metroid Fusion also looked on the Game Boy Advance, Zero Mission looks even better. Zero Mission is definitely one of the best looking 2D Metroid games. I love it. The sound effects are also great. They're some of the best sound effects in the entire series, in my opinion. I love the way the beams sound in this game a lot. It all works so well. And the soundtrack is so damn good. It features updated versions of the NES songs, and they all sound great. And all of the new music is incredible. This is one of my favorite Metroid soundtracks by far. From the beautiful title screen theme, to the updated Brinstar theme, to the more heroic version of the Brinstar theme after Samus gets her new suit, to the ending theme, and everything in between. The soundtrack is amazing. So, as a surprise to nobody, I absolutely love this game. It feels so good to play. The updated gameplay, graphics, soundtrack, and story presentation are so good. The new section at the end of the game is fun too, even though I suck at stealth. The segment it leads to is perfect. This is hands down one of the best Metroid experiences out there. And to me, it is the definitive way to play Metroid 1. The only downside to Metroid Zero Mission is the same downside there is with Fusion. It's that there's no way to currently play them on modern consoles. You could get them on the Wii U Virtual Console, but that system is like 10 years old at this point. And you could get them on some 3DSs somehow, but not all of them. So that's the only real issue. There needs to be like a Game Boy player on the Switch, or they need to do some kind of collection. Just something. Anyway, Metroid Zero Mission is incredible, and I definitely recommend it. 100%. Check it out. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And if you want to see more of me, you can catch me streaming all kinds of stuff over on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/CaseyTheGamer91. And I also have a Patreon where you can get perks like early video access and some other pretty cool stuff. And the link for that is patreon.com/CaseyTheGamer91. You can find both of those links and all of my other links in the description below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to catch you next time. Peace out. So, just a quick little added thing. I recorded this review for Metroid Zero Mission on like the 6th or the 7th, and I'm in the middle of editing it, and the Nintendo Direct comes on, or it came on today, which is the 8th, and they announced the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance player for the Switch. I don't think Metroid Zero Mission will be on there right away, or Fusion, but they did show Fusion at the end of the announcement. I haven't logged into it to check anything because I'm still editing, but they did say they're adding a bunch more games, and I think they'd be crazy not to include Metroid Zero Mission. So, yeah, there we go. I didn't say anything about this in the Metroid Fusion review, and as soon as I say something about it in the Zero Mission review, even though it wasn't live at the time, of course they go and do that. But hey, that's good news, because that means more access to Metroid Fusion, because that was listed, that was shown. And like I said, I anticipate Metroid Zero Mission will eventually be on there as well. So that is fantastic news. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye. Have a good one. Peace out. Love you guys.